to the Sugar River near Unity.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
And this was 20 miles from where she was originally dropped off.
Okay.
Morse had been stabbed to death in the neck. Her head was nearly severed.
Vicious.
Her body was about 500 feet away from where Betsy's body had been located in 1981.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm blown away. I'm being blown away right now. That's kind of why I'm being quiet. I'm just don't know what to say.
The location of the body was difficult. The terrain was rough, so it was unclear if she was murdered at the site or killed somewhere else and dumped in the woods. Because this is a kind of place where, I mean, you're hiking up embankments,
Right.
climbs,
Rough trail.
ravine. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Trees, forests. This is not like a place where someone just pulls over and tosses out a body.
Right.
And someone would have to know this area very well.
Well, it seems that in a lot of these instances, someone knew the area. The remote, logging roads, things like, there's no maps to logging roads, right? There's no, locals know these things. They know where these dirt roads and gravel roads and places that kids go hang out, things like that. That's the type of thing locals know. And not just someone passing through.
Well, Dylan, let's pause for a moment and hear a word from our sponsors. Our next victim tied to the Connecticut River Valley Killer happened about 9 months later. 37-year-old Linda Moore was sitting in the sun. She had a lawn chair, a portable radio, outside her home enjoying a warm, sunny afternoon. A neighbor spotted her outside about 11:45 a.m. Sometime between 12:30 and 1 p.m., Linda went into her house. She was a loving mother of 2 kids. She had a 12-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. She was active in the community, serving as president of the Rockingham Hospital Auxiliary. She didn't have a job outside the home, but she did the books for her husband's contracting business. The family lived in a large white colonial-style house in a nice neighborhood. Her husband returned home from work around 3 p.m., and he had one of his employees with him. And this is April 15th, 1986. Walks in the house, finds Linda's dead body lying in a pool of blood near the kitchen. Bloodstains were on the living room rug, and she was lying under a portrait of her son.
Wow.
Her husband had tried to phone her around 12:40 p.m. that afternoon, but had not been able to reach her. She was stabbed 25 times in the neck and abdomen in what the police would call a gross overkill. It was obvious Linda tried to fight off her attacker. Her husband was immediately cleared as a suspect. He'd been at work all day. The house was searched for about 6 hours, as well as the neighborhood. Numerous witnesses reported seeing a slightly stocky, dark-haired man with a blue knapsack lingering near the Moore home. He was believed to have been about maybe 25 years old.
Yeah, maybe the other victim that was stabbed so many times fought hard, and that might be the type of thing that sends this person into some kind of berserker rage or something. I don't know.
The Connecticut River Valley Killer's next victim is believed to be Barbara Agnew. She worked at the Mary Hitchcock Memorial Hospital as a nurse. On January 10th, 1987, she was returning from a ski trip in Stratton, Vermont. She never showed up for work and was reported missing. About 3 days later, her bloody wallet and clothing were found in a dumpster at a gas station near the White River Junction. About 4 days after she had left the ski slope, her green BMW was located near Hartford, Vermont. The door was open and there was blood on the steering wheel. Her skis were missing, but her poles and boots remained in the car.
Wow.
She was 10 miles from her home. On the day she disappeared, there was a heavy snowstorm in the area. It was not until March 28th, hikers found her body in a remote area of Heartland, Vermont. She had stab wounds to the neck and abdomen. Barbara's body was found about a mile from where 16-year-old Heidi Martin had been found.
Neck and abdomen. Very, very strange.
Now, the last known attack believed to be connected to the Connecticut River Valley Killer ends with Jane Borowski. Around midnight, the 23-year-old, who happened to be 7 months pregnant, was leaving the county fair in Keene, New Hampshire, August 6, 1988. It was a hot and muggy evening, so Jane decided to stop off for a drink at a vending machine. The convenience store was closed, so she pulls in the parking lot, gets her drink. As she's walking back to her vehicle, she noticed a Jeep Wagoneer had pulled in and parked beside her car. When she climbs in her vehicle, a man came walking up behind her car, knocks on the window, and asks her if the payphone is working. She's kind of startled. He then snatches open the car door and tries to drag her from the vehicle. The two struggle. He pulls a knife. Jane tries to run. He chases her and stabs her 27 times.
What the hell?
He then returned to his Jeep, leaving Jane for dead. She managed to crawl, bleeding and injured, to her car. Once she's inside the car, she drives 2 miles to a friend's house, and at one point, and this is terrifying, realized that the Jeep was right in front of her on the road.
She's following him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, stabbed out 27 times?
Pregnant.
What the hell?
Terror. As she, pulls into her friend's driveway, she's honking, trying to get their attention. They come out to help her. She's bleeding. I mean, you can imagine the scene. She said the man in the Jeep made a U-turn and drove back by to watch the commotion.
Oh my God, he's probably getting off on that shit.
Jane was treated for multiple injuries, including a severed jugular, collapsed lungs, kidney lacerations, and severed tendons. But 2 months later, she gave birth to her daughter.
Oh, wow.
Her daughter was later diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Under hypnosis, Jane was able to describe the man for a composite sketch. Jane said the assailant seemed to lose interest once she had stopped fighting him.
Yeah.
Like he only really seemed to be getting his kicks when she was struggling.
Right. God, what a sicko.
That is where the Connecticut River Valley Killer allegedly stops.
Oh yeah?
But there's more.
Oh my God.
June 24th, 1988, the decomposed body parts of an unidentified woman were found near Route 78 in Warwick, Massachusetts, less than 1 mile from the New Hampshire border. And when I say body parts, I mean arms and legs. The body had been dismembered. There was no head or torso, and they've never been found. The victim was a white female with an athletic build and was, they guessed, of average height.
Oh man, they know she's athletic from her arms and legs?
I guess so.
Damn, she must have been pretty athletic. What? I don't know. If you just take one of my arms, what conclusion could you draw if there's just one of my arms presented?
I think they would know that you are not a bodybuilder.
Well, that's a damn lie, because that's a decent arm right there. Look at that. Look.
Oh, bless it.
There's some definition. And plus this, look at that.
Okay, yeah. Nobody cares about your weird tribal gecko tattoo.
That's a badass tattoo back in the late 90s.
I'm sure in 1996 it was really happening, Dylan.
It was dope.
In 1989, Carrie Moss was a 14-year-old from New Boston, New Hampshire, who vanished. She left her parents' home to go visit friends in Goffstown, and this was July 25th. Almost 2 years later, her body was found in 1991 in a wooded area near New Boston. Her cause of death couldn't be determined, but authorities speculated she was murdered. Just with the location of the body, dumped in a wooded area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if you're off in a ditch somewhere something like that, out in a damn remote location, then it's likely you were probably killed and put there.
Another murder victim with loose ties to a serial killer, possibly, is that of 16-year-old Jessica Briggs, who went missing in 1989. Now, here's the kicker. A man named Anthony Sanborn Jr. was convicted of her murder, but he proclaimed his innocence for the duration of, his prison sentence. Sanborn had been Briggs's boyfriend.
Ah.
He's convicted of her murder. An eyewitness, a 13-year-old, was the key to putting him behind bars because she said she saw him stab Jessica on the Maine State Pier. However, her testimony was later recanted. She was tested to be legally blind.
Holy shit.
See, I mean, she couldn't see far enough to even know, like, what happened at all.
Eyewitness testimony.
She also said police pressured her to point the finger at Sanborn because they wanted to close the case.
Coercion.
He was finally released from prison in 2017.
That's crazy. So there you got, they go for the boyfriend. They always think that. They want to solve it. Maybe a little bit over exuberant about, you got the eyewitness. She can't see a damn thing. But then in court, that's compelling. I mean, I can see as a jury member, someone's certain. All them tricks the mind plays and all that stuff that happens to eyewitnesses.
It reminds me of that scene in My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
When there's like the little old lady that's like, I saw him leaving the Soapy Suds or whatever the place was called. And then he's like, really? And shows her a picture of like her window screen.
Yeah.
And it's all like nasty. And then her glasses are super thick.
Yeah.
And he's like, when's the last time you had that prescription updated?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I could see it being in court and someone giving something they believe to be true in their own mind, let alone with any pressure from local authorities.
Well, she's 13.
And she's 13, so that would be scary as hell. And someone's died, right? I mean, that'd be a tough situation. But I could see you taking that and be like, yeah, I believe that 13-year-old.
Well, Sanborn was finally released, after an appeal. But there was another witness that say the night Jessica disappeared, a strange man pulled up in the parking lot near the pier and asked Jessica if she wanted to have a good time. When he was rebuffed, he called her a bitch and threatened her.
Oh, that's the way you react when women say no thanks.
On July 1st, 1989, Pamela Webb, a 33-year-old, was reported missing from Winthrop, Maine. She was going to see her boyfriend, who happened to live down, I believe, in Vermont or New Hampshire.
That's just like 40 victims.
The truck she was driving was found abandoned on the side of the road off I-95, appearing as though it had been some kind of struggle. 17 days later, her body was found in a wooded area near Franconia, New Hampshire. Her death was ruled a homicide, but again, couldn't determine the manner of death.
Damn it.
There's also the 2000 disappearance of Molly Bish. She was a 16-year-old who lived in Warren, Massachusetts. She was dropped off at her lifeguard job at Commons Pond. Her mother saw a man with a mustache sitting in a white car parked kind of near the beach when Molly was let out to go to work. Molly was reported missing. No lifeguard had been reported on duty for the entire day of June 27th. In the fall of 2002, a hunter saw a blue bathing suit in the woods near Palmer. On June 9th, 2003, after an intensive search of that area, Molly's body was found, and it was about 5 miles from her family home.
Damn.
A man named Rodney Stanger was the prime suspect. He had been convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend, Crystal Morrison. Rodney moved to Florida about a year after Molly's murder with his girlfriend. He was also believed to be the suspect in another murder, but later DNA tied a different killer to that murder. Now, according to the television show Dark Minds of the Valley Killer, in 2008, Crystal Morrison's sister went to cops with a tip. She said her sister had called her on the phone and was whispering and behaving very strangely and was concerned that this boyfriend, Rodney, was going to hurt her, and he did. He killed her. But she whispered the word murders to her sister.
Murderers?
Murders.
Murders?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crystal Morrison was stabbed 39 times, much like the other alleged victims.
So was he convicted of that, you said, right?
Of his girlfriend's murder.
And he served time?
Oh, he's in prison now.
This
was in like 2008.
Okay.
2009. But he is believed to have killed Molly Bish. But again, he stabbed his girlfriend 39 times, much like these other victims.
Yes.
So, who is responsible for these murders? Are you ready to talk suspects, Dylan?
Yes, please help ground me on that, because I'm sure other people's heads are swimming a little bit, but this has been over decades, right? I mean, it's a lot of victims.
Only 7